fun.
It certainly is. And in fact, speaking of starting with harshness, we are starting with two of the very best players that ESET UK Masters has been seeing lately. Introducing first, spawning in the upper right-hand corner of Neoplanet S. He is the Green Terran, representing Team XP. His name is Tyles! And his opponent, representing my insanity. He is the Purple Protoss, and his name is ABomb! So these two players have both been doing incredibly well in the ESET UK Masters series. I mean, on Sunday, when I know, Chris, you were at Epic Land, but I was here keeping tabs on the ESET UK, and they were doing so well. Tyles, in fact, came very, very close to being a player to knock Boombox out in a best of three, actually taking him 1-0 up initially before losing 2 games and not quite advancing to the semi-finals. But ABomb, and in fact the whole My Insanity team, have been really tearing it up lately in StarCraft 2.
I could not agree more, and I would like to point out I did see Tyles, a post from him on TL earlier today, well, in the Looking for a Team thread, and that post was quite a while back, but he described himself there, and it was true when I looked at it on StarCraft as a 1400 point master, which is considerably high at this point in the season. However, he is up against a player who has been consistently Grandmaster for a long time now.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough matchup for him. And for my money, even tougher than Boombox so far. Because, and I have to point this out, this is something I learned about Boombox recently. Shortly after his recent victories, he has taken some time off of StarCraft 2. This week is seeing him come back into it. He's not quite hitting his form there, and that's why I think we saw some of the mistakes we saw in that game that we casted earlier today. So with Tyles now up against ABomb, this is his chance to really see, okay, am I ready to hang with the big boys? Am I ready to really blast out some serious results in an ESET UK Masters live finals as well as just online?
Indeed, and currently though, Tyles is just going to head around, make sure there is nothing proxied with this early game Reaper, choosing to go use it for the scouting rather than the really, really early game harass that you can get on this map due to its small size. Not going to be a huge deal, though he's still going to be able to get the harassment done. And he's also going to protect himself from any kind of proxy Stargates that have become very popular since the release of Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah, and what he's doing here, this is a build I'm seeing more and more lately. I don't know about you, but this 2-Rax Reaper opening versus Protoss has begun to get very frustrating for me as a Protoss player, especially against these fairly fast expand builds. Obviously, you do have the Mothership Core out in time, and that does help, but when they're producing this many Reapers, you can actually get to a point where the Mothership Core, obviously being so slow, cannot effectively chase, and you can really, essentially you take complete map control for a fairly long while in terms of StarCraft 2. We're talking maybe, you know, for the first 10 to even 12 minutes sometimes, just with a massive Reapers. It means your opponent can't do anything aggressive. You don't see that Zealot, Stalker, Mothership Core push against Terrans that often come, because you can simply pick apart the Zealot and Stalker on their way across the map. And it really shuts Protoss into their base. Unless you sneak a probe out, and then you can proxy.
I was about to point out that, like you said, the early map control is a huge thing for Terran, and the reason it works so well against Protoss is because the main beef of any kind of Protoss early game attack is that forward pylon, and pretty much the entire job of Reapers is picking off probes. So, see, with that map control you get with them, you can pretty much take out any probe trying to throw down a forward pylon. Except this one, because
Tyles has done this kind of heavy scouting early on, and because he's sat in front of this base, he's going to believe he's completely safe from any forward pylons. There's no way he's going to check down there for another one, because he knows there isn't one, unless, of course, in retreating from a Mothership Core, he happens to accidentally stumble across the second one going up. And right now we are at 3 gates, so we do see a lot of 3-gate Mothership Core pressure. the build that Maddles is dying for me to pick up. And it looks like that's what we're going to see with 3 sentries coming out. Do the Reapers see? No! Do not see that proxy pylon right now. Tyles is completely unaware of the pain headed his way. And I should point out, there is no bunker as of yet down for Tyles.
There is no bunker indeed. A couple Marauders are on the field, or at least one is. Another one is on the way, but this Marauder is out of position. Gonna get picked off instantly, which means these Stalkers gonna be much more powerful. It's completely from SCVs in the time warp. That wasn't a battle, that was a massacre.
As I believe is the phrasing, this could well be a bot. The Reapers are doing some damage for Tyles, but it's feeling incredibly futile at the moment. ABomb absolutely crushing it at the front, forcing a lift on that orbital command, taking down supply depots, taking down the army supply of Tyles here. And a GG from Tyles is the My Insanity player takes game number 1 of what I believe is the first of our best of 3s today. I will just double check that on our bracket.